Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I want to talk about the recent spoiler from Fino Black, the new Luminaris Angels Glow, what it means for Prism, kind of talk about the goods and the bads from the perspective of somebody who could not stand Prism, kind of talk about some of the positives, because I've seen the community kind of split on this. So we're going to talk about it. I'll show you kind of my two lists. It's not a deck tech by any means, just kind of talking about, I think, how it changes things and what this could mean for Prism going forward. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do a lot of content on here. Took a little bit of a break the last 10 days. Only posted 2 or 3 videos, but we're going to get back to it this week, posting some Alpha Clash content as well as some Flesh and Blood content, a little bit of mix of both. So feel free to show support on those. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. Feel free to check out the Patreon and the Discord down below. At the time of recording this video, I'm assuming we hit our 3K subs, which is insane. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to be doing some playmat giveaways. Join the Discord. I'll probably be announcing the winner in the Discord is my assumption. This is the easiest way to do it. But yeah, thank y'all so much. So we'll get into this. So this is Luminaris Angels Glow. So if we kind of look at, I'll kind of do this on the fly. So, because we have 3 Luminarises right now, right? We have the original Luminaris, which was the one that everybody got so upset about. Luminaris, including myself, says during your action phase, illusionist auras you control are weapons with +1 power, and once per turn action, pay nothing, attack with them. While there is a yellow color strip in your pitch zone, illusionist attacks you control have go again, right? Super oppressive weapon. What made Prism so annoying to play against and so not fun to play against if you are not a Prism main or a Prism simp, and I mean that in a loving way, is it just created these really crappy game states. Because when you had Luminaris combined with Spectra, it was really hard to deal with her auras, and then if all of her auras are pinging you, it just becomes very, very oppressive, right? If she could build 2 or 3 auras on the board that end your turn when you attack them, along with some spectral shields, she could hit you with a Wartune Herald and then ping you for 4, right? And just really snowball the game. It really gate kept a lot of decks, and there were certain matchups where it was literally a 100-0. Oldheim, as good as he was, you go up against a good Prism, you're losing every time, every single time. So a lot of people were happy when this left the format. It obviously left when Prism Living Legend, and then when we got Prism 2.0, Prism, the new Prism here, as we look right here, Prism Awakener of Soul, she was given this Luminaris, which is the new Lumi, right? Luminaris Celestial Fury, which says once per turn instant, only one time, pay 2, and target angel attack or attack action card with Herald in its name gets go again. So there was a lot of, obviously this is not as good. The auras don't get go again, period, and you have to pay 2 to give one thing go again. So it's kind of resource intensive. You can't just string together a bunch of attacks. You have to really play a value game plan, right? So people, since then, Prism has kind of been on the back burner, not as popular, not as good. As of late in the last month or two, she's been really good comparatively. She's been bumped up to where really high level players are able to play, I'd say at a low B tier level, maybe high C tier. But the issue with the Celestial Fury is it's the same thing. So Luminaris can give all illusionist attacks go again. So in the old school Prism, people would play stuff like Yellow Enigma Chimera, or other illusionist attacks that aren't heralds or anything like that, but they still got go again, right? And it just allowed you to be very flexible in your builds on top of that. This kind of eliminated that. Well, Fino Black just revealed this one, Luminaris Angels Glow, which says if there's a yellow card in your pitch zone, the first attack action card with Herald in its name you play each turn, and your first angel attack each turn get go again. So this is definitely truly a hybrid of old Luminaris and new, right? It doesn't have the same kind of degenerate state of giving your auras +1 go again, but it does allow you to string together basically 2 attacks for free. Not for free, play them for free, but give them go again for free. On an ideal turn, right? If you have a yellow Wartune Herald and a red Wartune Herald, and then maybe one more card, you're able to do, pitch the yellow Wartune Herald, play the red, 1 floating, it gets go again automatically because you just pitched a yellow. You pitch your second card, swing with your angel, that gets go again, stuff like that. Or you could flip them, right, and be able to do a lot of stuff. You're going to be able to do things like, off a 2-card hand, being able to pitch a yellow, play like do some really cool high value stuff like play Herald of Erudition off of a yellow, pitching a yellow for 5 dominate. If it hits, you draw 2 cards, and naturally I go again from pitching the yellow, and then maybe if it hit, you bring in an angel, activate that or awaken that angel for free because of Empyrean Rapture, and then attack with the angel. So off a 2-card hand, you're attacking for potentially 9 damage. And then when you combine that with Pierce Reality and other stuff, it snowballs. So what this new Luminaris allows you to do is be a lot more efficient in your attacks, whereas in Celestial Fury, like what I just said, right, if you pitch a yellow to play Herald of Erudition, you can't give it go again because you don't have extra resources floating. Whereas with this Luminaris now, if you play Herald of Erudition, pitching a yellow, it automatically gets go again. If they let it hit, you use the 2 cards you just drew to attack with the angel that you just awakened off of Erudition hitting. So makes her a lot better. Now, my original takeaway before we get into these lists is that I don't think this is like bringing old Prism back. Prism's definitely going to be a good deck, but Prism's going to have some heavy considerations because you're not going to be able to just play your aura plan and spam people with 1 cost auras, right? So you can't like play the super long game with that. If you do, you're going to have to go on an Iris build, which takes up a lot of sideboard slots, and you have to build your deck accordingly, right? Because when you first see this, your thought process, at least from a newbie in Prism, is you just go full angels, right? Just hard aggro down, use stuff like Herald of Triumph and things like that. But the problem is we're about to have this cool set called Heavy Hitters. And what are 2 out of the 3 main classes that are getting supported in that set? Guardian and Brute. Guardian and Brute will just destroy you if you're on a Herald plan. Absolutely destroy you. Doesn't matter if you run stuff like Celestial Reprimand and Angelic Wrath and things like that to try to combat it. Doesn't matter. They're going to be able to still, if a Bravo blocks with a Spinal Crush, or a Brute blocks with Alpha Rampage, or with a Numbskull, or anything like that, you're still going to get popped no matter what. And that Brute has ways of dealing with other stuff with more action points, preventing you from playing a value game with your blocks, all types of stuff. Bravo can just aggro you down. So I don't think you're going to be able to run a full, at least unless someone breaks it, which is possible. There's way better deck builders out there than me. Being able to run like a full aggro game plan. You can't just sacrifice the Iris build. So you have to still run, I think, this switchboard plan, which takes up a lot of slots. So this is my initial list. We're not going to do a deck tech. I'm just kind of going over it. In my old list, I was running 15 yellows in the main board and 27 blues. And then I was sideboarding in these in order to run the Iris game plan, siding out some stuff. But the side out was very easy when you do this, right? You just side out probably 3 Figments and then your Red Heralds, right? So that's 9, and then 3 Figments is 12. Put these in, you're good to go. You can't do that as easily in this list, because in this list, you're going to want to run less Red Heralds. Like in the old switchboard plan that you've seen, like on Hit Effect run and Finno Black run, they're running like 6 to 9 Red Heralds, maybe even more, maybe like 12, right? Because you're wanting to make the most of this Celestial Fury. However, in these new ones, because new Lumi is going to care about yellows, you're going to run more yellows. You're probably only going to run like 6 reds. So, and you want to keep probably these in. So when you go to sideboard, right, you might take out these 6 Heralds, these red ones, maybe 3 Figments-ish, because you're going to run 6 Figments, I think, instead of 5. And then maybe the Angelic Wraths. I think that's what you're going to have to sub out. But basically what I'm trying to say is it's going to be very hard to create a good switchboard plan, because it does limit what you would want to do in a full aggro Heralds plan. Because if you're doing full aggro Heralds, I mean, you can put in a lot more Heralds than this. Herald of Triumph is a possibility, even though it doesn't do a whole lot on the on-hit effect. The on-hit effect is going to get an Angel. Because before, what the original difference, right, if we go to the original Prism, for anyone that just doesn't remember, once per turn instant, banish a card from Prism's Soul, create a Spectral Shield, right? Pay 2. The only on hit effect for a Herald hitting on old Prism was what's on the card, right? Which is it goes in the Soul. Maybe if you had Herald of Protection, you make a Spectral Shield, something like that, right? Herald of Erudition lets you draw 2 cards, but there was not a ton of on hit effects. The only 2 cards that technically had an on hit effect, other than going in the Soul, was Erudition, Protection, and Rebirth. Now, every single Herald you throw has a on-hit effect. So you can run stuff like Herald of Judgment and things like that. What I'm trying to say is I think she's going to have a switchboard plan but that's also going to limit her deck building because you're going to have to dedicate 100% going to have to dedicate 12 to 15 slots to your sideboard for the Iris plan, because you got to run Tunic, because if you don't run Tunic, these yellow auras are absolutely horrific to get out, because you want to get them out off of blue and Tunic. You have to run Iris, probably run Mage Master Boots, and then you got to run your aura package, right? And for me, like I've learned the hard way earlier today, you got to run somewhere between 6 to 9 instant auras, otherwise you just get fatigued. Like even this list right here still needs some refinement, right? There might be a world where I try to, get in one more Merciful Retribution here. And maybe run 2 Passy Mirages. But then you have to worry, okay, do I have enough blues? Because in an aura plan, you want to have around 27 to 33 blues minimum, maybe even more. In the aura package here, I have 21, 24, 27 blues, which I think is the least amount of blues you need to be running in order to make the aura package worth it. All this to say, all this rambling to say, I wanted to bring some positivity to this, because I think that this weapon makes her better. It makes her a relevant deck. But 2 things. One, if you want to be relevant in Prism, at least from first glance, we'll see if I'm right, you're going to have to run a switchboard plan. You cannot just go full aggro Heralds. You can't just run Celestial Reprimands and stuff like this to try to get around Phantasm. It's just not going to work. You're still just going to lose to Brute and Guardian. You have to have a switchboard if you want to be able to play against those decks. Unless you just say, I want to dodge those and I'll feed on aggro. But even aggro is not an automatic win. So you're going to have to run that switchboard plan, which limits her decks. And also, this isn't as nearly impressive as old Luminaris, because you don't have the inevitability of the +1 auras, and you also don't have the flexibility of giving things like Enigma Chimera, all these things just unprecedented to go again. It just doesn't work that way. So that's my initial thought, right? I think she's going to be good. I think she's going to be a relevant deck, and I'm really excited to see what some of the really good players come up with as far as deck building principles. But overall, I think it just makes her a good deck. I don't think it makes her what old Prism was. Not even close, in my opinion. But regardless, even as a Ninja player, I'm super excited. Reagan's been learning Prism, and I want to learn it better too, so I can help teach her, and also I enjoy playing the deck. But let me know what your thoughts are as a community. I've seen the community split on it. Try not to be super negative, in my opinion. Let it play out. I think this deck has some glaring weaknesses against Brute and against Guardian. And it's also not an automatic win against aggro either. I definitely think that it's a good deck. It's going to be a fun deck. It's going to be a very skill-expressive deck. Me playing this deck for a week, I'm already every single game I'm learning something. It's pretty nuts. So I would love to know what your thoughts are as a community. What's your thoughts on the sport? Definitely go check out Finno Black. His spoiler video, he did a great job. And if you want to have Prism content, Finno Black is amazing. I'll try to remember to put him in the description. Check the description down below. But Finno Black is amazing. On Hit Effects is amazing. She does great stuff. Dozer is coming back, it seems like, a little bit, which is really good. Definitely check out these creators and their Prism deck techs and their Prism content to try to get this hero going a little bit more. It's a beloved hero in the game, has a huge cult following, and I think that it's going to be a fun thing to watch, honestly. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not, it's totally fine. Go to our Flesh and Blood creator, leave a like, comment, or subscribe on their stuff so we get more people seeing this game. And I will see y'all next time on TC Talk. Thank y'all so much.